Welcome everyone to part 2 of my GTX 770 review in 2017. You can pick up Nvidia's GTX 770 on places like eBay for between £70 to £80 or under $100 if you live in the US. Now, although this card is 4 years old, how do you think it would do in some popular RPGs today? The results may surprise you. So I'll be testing the GTX 770 in The Witcher 3, Skyrim Special Edition, Dark Souls 3 and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Those of you who don't know my test system, it's coming up now in the top left. And the reason I use this system is so we can eliminate bottlenecks and give the 770 the best chance of playing at high and ultra settings 1080p. It's also worth noting, guys, that this card was overclocked to 1241MHz on the core and plus 150 on the memory. I always overclock cards because in the real world this is how most people will run their graphics cards. So let's find out if the 770 still has what it takes in 2017. First up we have The Witcher 3, and although this game is a year and a half old, it is a demanding title which is always a great test of any graphics card. I bet there's some of you out there with some quests left over, as it's pretty vast with all the DLC. This was run on the high preset with Nvidia Hairworks disabled, as that option is a massive resource hog. You can expect to lose about 20 FPS with it enabled. So I ran through 3 half-hour plays and captured the minimum, maximum and averages with the Fraps benchmark. As always, the minimum displayed will be the lowest of the 3 runs. As you can see, the gameplay was smooth, although my playing left a lot to be desired. I only had one run where there was noticeable slowdown. This was coming into an area with very high foliage, weather conditions and lighting effects. The minimum recorded FPS was 25 of the 3 runs, although it stayed above 30 FPS in the other 2 benchmarks. Whether this was just a freak case, I couldn't actually be sure. The average was 61 and the maximum FPS was 68, more than acceptable performance given the price and age of the 770. Moving on to the notoriously difficult Dark Souls 3, fans of the series will be pleased to hear that it didn't resemble a run of Blighttown on the PlayStation 3. Even on the quality preset set to maximum, the gameplay was very smooth with no stuttering or noticeable slowdown. I ran both high and maximum presets and was really surprised that there was no difference in terms of performance impact running at either setting. So I settled on the maximum preset and did 3 playthroughs whilst focusing on trying to stay alive. Of the 3 Fraps benchmarks, the lowest FPS I captured was 41, the average across all 3 was very consistent at 59 FPS, and as expected the maximum was capped at 61 frames per second. As you can see, the gameplay was silky smooth, with only occasional dips into the 40s when things got pretty hectic. Another good showing for the 770. Next up we have Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now I know this game can be quite heavy-handed on some hardware, so I wasn't expecting a particularly well-polished performance. However, I need not have worried, as the gameplay was surprisingly fluid and I didn't come across any moments where the 770 lost its cool. Although this game comes with its own built-in benchmark, I'm yet to be convinced that this method of testing is representative of true gameplay. So I ran this game at the high preset, and the lowest of the 3 half-hour runs returned a minimum of 29 frames per second. However, it is worth noting this always happened in a cutscene. During normal gameplay it never dropped that low. The maximum of the 3 runs gave us 94, and an average across all 3 returned 58 frames per second. Personally, I'd be pretty reluctant to push this card any harder though, given the warning when looking at the very high preset, which suggests you'll need over 4GB of VRAM. Yeah, I think we give that one a miss. Given the game's demanding nature, I would say that this is perfectly playable performance and another solid result for the GTX 770. And finally we have Skyrim Special Edition, which is run at both the high and ultra presets. To be honest, just like Dark Souls 3, after running the 3 benchmarks on both settings, there was very little variance in average and minimum frame rates. If you want the greatest eye candy, then go with Ultra. If you want the smoothest experience, then go with the high preset. Out in the open world, the minimum recorded FPS was 43, the maximum as expected was capped at 61, and the average achieved 59 frames per second. As you can see, the dungeon areas were locked at a smooth 60 frames per second as well, but it's worth pointing out that in the open world I did notice gameplay on the high preset seems smoother in operation than Ultra, even though the Fraps benchmark returned exactly the same minimum and average FPS. Again, I put this down to the VRAM getting dangerously close to its limit, with all the high texture and lighting effects giving the card a thorough spanking. Even so, this is still impressive performance. Years ago this level of performance would be unheard of for the money. The fact you can pick up this old card and get this level of performance for just £70 or $90 is encouraging for budget gamers. And although ultra settings are achievable, I would recommend running this card at high presets in the majority of games for the smoothest gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. And let me know in the comments section if these results surprised you too. Thanks for watching and stay passionate about PC, whatever your budget. I'll catch you guys in the next one.